Dispatcher for Midstate Air. Our company uses Smart Service 365 to simplify our job process, connecting our dispatchers, technicians, sales reps, and managers within a single 100% mobile cloud-based software system. Let me show you how it works. Let's start by looking at the scheduler. Here you can see the plan for today. Each row here represents a technician's schedule. Midstate Air.
Hey, this is Benjamin Parsons. My building is having some air conditioning problems. How soon can you send someone out?
To get started, I'll click on the scheduler. Since Benjamin is a longtime customer, I can easily find his information. I'll put in some basic details about this service. Then ask Smart Service 365 to find the best possible scheduling window for me. Let's see. I'm looking for a 2-hour window within a day for a technician that can fix air conditioners. When I click the next available, I'll have a list of techs to choose from. Selecting a technician will dispatch the work order directly to them.
Hi, I'm Josh, a service technician for Midstate Air, and today I'm going to show you how I use Smart Service 365 to complete work in the field. When I log into Smart Service 365, I'll see my schedule for the day. Looks like my first appointment is a service call for Benjamin Parsons. Here are the notes from Caitlin, my dispatcher. If I need to, I can review my customer's contact info, service history, or equipment information. When I'm ready to go, I can change my status to say that I'm traveling to my job. Once I've arrived, I can indicate that I've started working. These status updates will help the folks in the office track my progress. After I diagnose the problem with my customer's air conditioner, I can add line items to start building up the work order. Then, with another tap, I can convert this work order into an invoice. Once I finish working, I can collect a signature and payment from my customer.
I went back home for lunch, but I can still log in from here to check on Josh's progress. I can also check in on the current locations and job progress of my other technicians, and take a look at all the invoices for today. This will give me a great picture of the health of our company.
Hi, and welcome to Smart Service 365 TV. I'm Denver, and today I'm going to be taking you through Smart Service 365, our web-based scheduling program. Now, we're going to start off here on the dispatch board, and I'm going to take you through some of the features on this screen. But before I do, I want you to know when you're ready to schedule your own demonstration, come over here to smartservice.com/Denver. You can come down here and hit the yellow button, and you can schedule a personal demonstration with me. Now let's start back over here on the dispatch board. I'm sure you can see my appointment blocks, and I want to touch on that a little bit. I'm sure you notice there are differences in color, and right now I have them colored by status. We have a lot of options as far as block coloring here. You can go by city, description, zip code, so whatever you're more comfortable with, the system will color code based on that. Now, I want to come over here on my left and point out I have two different departments, sales and service, and my different technicians below. Now, you can have as many departments as you want, break up your technicians any way you need. And let's come down here to Randy. I have a fun ability here. I can send him a text message directly from the system. Now, this is great for those of you that are currently scheduling and then manually calling your technician in the field or sending them texts already. So you won't have to pick up your phone. And let's say we just built up this job right here for Randy. And we know Randy's not really very good about checking his schedule. While it will update in real time, to make sure he has all the pertinent information and knows he has a new appointment, you can hit the Dispatch Now button. And if you come over here, you can see the Dispatch Now will send a text message also with the basic information for the appointment. And the big takeaway there is he's going to be aware that he has a new appointment. Close that out. And let's keep going with Randy here. Now you can get directions to these jobs in Google Maps. Pretty straightforward. I know everybody's seen that. But let's come down here to plot appointments. This is a great little ability within the system, and it's going to help out every scheduler I know. If I hit plot appointments, I can see where his jobs are for that day. Now this is great because if I built a fourth job on there and it was way up here in Ashley, I know that I need to give that to a different technician. The next question is, which technician do I give that faraway job to? Well, I'm going to close it out with the top map icon and answer that next question. If I open this map right here with the top map icon, it'll give me a current GPS location of where my technicians are. So I'm going to see that all these guys up here are much closer, so I can move that job right over to one of them. Now let's close that out. Now moving jobs is all fine and good, but let me show you how easy it is. I'm going to click and drag. Say I wanted to give that job to Mike. All I have to do is click and drag. It's very simple. And it'll reset that appointment for Mike. All right. Now I know you all have jobs where the customer will call and say, I can't work, we can't complete this work today, but I do need it done. I don't know when. Or you're waiting for a part to come in to finish the job. You don't have to build up a new work order anymore for those of you that are on paper. You can just come down here and right click on a job and change its status to what's called the waiting list. Here and hit waiting list. That job disappeared. And it popped right down here onto our waiting list. It's a bucket for those one-off jobs, so you're not going to be forgetting those jobs that still need completed anymore. They're all down here. And you can search those jobs right here. And when you're ready, I'm just going to pull a random job. You can just click and drag. There we go. That's all it takes. All right, now I know a lot of you do estimates or quote work, so I'm going to start off there and show you how easy it is to build up a quote, and then we're going to take it and turn it into a work order and then an invoice. So let's go to Jess, my go-to guy, and he's definitely lacking for appointments today. So I'm going to click and drag. It's going to give me the option of quote, work order, or invoice. Let's start out with a quote. Now this creates the appointment block and pops open your quote right here. And we need customer information. So let's see what I have for R. Let's go with Sam. Now I selected Sam right here, but if I wanted to, I can create a new customer directly from the screen as well. I'm just using a preset. And your customer information will populate down. Now we have a handy note section, pretty straightforward. You can add additional notes to the quote if the technician going out to handle that quote needs more information. And we need a description for it. So today is Friday. Let's call this Friday 54. Now, if I didn't like where I pulled that appointment block initially, didn't quite work, I can manually reset it here, or I can drag and drop on the dispatch board. It's your choice. It's very easy either way. And if you're running crews, which probably wouldn't be the case for quote, but this will be more pertinent to a work order, you can pre-build crews and select them right here. Let me show you, I have pre-built crews. And the great thing about crews is with our scheduling dispatch board, the job will populate out not just to the lead technician, but any technician attached on the crew. So you're not going to have the lead technician notify the other crew members. They'll know right away. And we can also set up appointment windows here, pre-notifications, if let's say they needed to call ahead. We could set priority levels. I'm going to go with low. And type. All right, I'm going to call this a service repair replace. Now right down here we have a great little ability. It's called tags. And they're real straightforward. You just come through and click on these. Now they're important because if you're running into the same thing frequently, like a dog or a lock gate, you won't have to spend that time typing that in notes every single time. And I know you're saying, oh, it takes me 5 seconds, 10 seconds to type that in. Sure, it does. Do that 500 times in a month. I'm sure any scheduler can appreciate that. And you can customize all this. Just like most of the system, it's designed to handle your current business process rather than you having to learn a new one. I'm just going to save this. Pop. There is our appointment block for Jess for the quote. Now, if I scroll over this or any other appointment block, I'm going to get this quick view information. So if you just need some quick information on it, you won't have to completely open the appointment block. Now, that was real fast as far as building up a quote. And for those of you on paper, I know it was significantly faster, and I'm sure you're adding up that time in your head on what it's going to save you. But I can make it even faster for you. If you have very similar type of jobs or preset time frames, you can pre-bill work orders over here with our quick entry. And with our quick entry, all you have to do is click and drag, which I'm going to do right now with a service call, and let's give it to Jasmine. It's going to open up just like our quote did. And we need a customer for it. So let's see what we have for T. Owen. And then we hit save. Now the great thing about the quick entry is you pre-build all the information. So just like we went through on the quote, all that information is going to pre-populate. It's just a template for your work order. But it takes about 5 seconds, which is really great for the scheduler, especially if you're handling a lot of jobs coming in. Now let's go back to our quote. I'm going to open up our appointment block here. Come back in. And right here you can see that quote. Now as we go through and take the quote to a work order and work order to invoice, I want you to know that they'll stack right here. So it'll be quote, work order, and invoice. And I'm going to show you what that'll look like near the end. So I'm going to go into this quote. And let's say we want to send it to the customer. Before we do that, though, we're going to add line items. Pretty straightforward here. You can add a new item right here. I'm just going to go with I'm going to do a service trip charge. Information populates in for that. Now, that's not quite all I need on that quote. I definitely need some more items. So I'm going to go with group item. And group items are great for those of you who have many parts that go with a job and you don't want to select, 15 different pieces. You can hit your group item, hit OK. And you'll see part A, B, and C just populate right in for you. We also have price book. And for those of you that are familiar, be pretty straightforward. For those of you that are not, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to come here to my supply house one and think of it like a family tree. You just drill down for what you need. So let's say we're on a plumbing job and we need an expansion tank. And we need this one right here. Now this is great for your technician. He may not have the model number. He may not know exactly which it is, but he will have a visual so he can make comparison right here. And this way he's not going to select the wrong item to add on. And then we just add it on. And we're going to go back. And there it is, right there. Now our quote's ready. Next step is always customer approval. So we're going to send this to the customer. And you can email it directly from the system. If you've taken any images for the quote, which you do have the ability to do that for, you can add those on as well. You can also add on your fillable PDFs if you have any of those. I know my pool people like to do chemical levels, and my chimney people have a lot of fillable PDFs they need. You can attach those here as well. I'm just going to close this out because it would just send to my email. Have it preset to that. Now, we want to take this to a work order because the customer approved. And you can take digital signature. But to go to work order, come here, click work order, and hit OK. That's all it takes. Real easy. Takes about 3 seconds. And here we have a work order. These arrows up top are interactive, and they correspond to the coloring that you saw earlier for status on the dispatch board. So the en route, arrive, working. As your technician goes through and selects these when he's on his way, When you hit the en route, it'll send a text message to your customer notifying them ahead of time that your technician's on his way. A lot of customers really enjoy that. And you go left to right all the way through completed. But if they fail to do that or forget, it's fine. It won't affect anything. You can manually adjust back on the dispatch board. All right. Now down here, your technician can get directions in Google Maps. I know we touched on that. Another great feature is history. A lot of you do have technicians. They will call back into the office and say, hey, was this work completed when, the other guy Johnny was out 6 months ago? We don't know. They're never going to have to do that again and waste your time. They hit history, and it will pull previous history for that customer. And they can go through these work orders because they're interactive, just as we're in this one right now, and see any previous work that was done. Very convenient. Now, let's just imagine that job was completed in 3 minutes. I know none of your jobs actually are, but we want to turn it into an invoice. Now, again, I want to touch on you can send the work order. Some of you like to, just as we did with the quote, but I'm just going to take this directly to invoice. And for those of you that like to go quote directly to invoice, we do have that ability as well also. But we're going to just take this, turn it into an invoice. Right up here, invoice. Now you can send this over to QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Online integration. You can send it directly to the customer, and you can take payment right out in the field, which is great. Take credit card, electronic check, cash. If you're handling a paper check, you can make note of it here as well. Very convenient. Now I'm just going to close this out in cash. Close these out. You can see I didn't affect the arrows at the top, so my status is still just scheduled. Now, if I know that job's completed and my tech's a little forgetful, I can come down here to status and hit completed. It's going to turn that nice green color. This is a great way to keep track of where your jobs are for the day. For those of you just joining us, I do want to mention again that when you're ready, or if you have more in-depth questions you'd like to go through, come over here to smartservice.com/Denver. Yes, it's just like Colorado, and that is my name. And hit the yellow button. Schedule with me. We'll go all through your own process in a more personalized setting. All right, let's come back here. Now, we went through a quote, work order, and invoice. And I do want to touch on that we have separate screens for the quote, work order, and invoice. Now you can get all that information back here directly off the appointment. And as I said before, quote, work order, and invoice. If you remember, we started with just a quote and then turned it into work order and invoice. And when you do that, it does not destroy the previous quote or work order. That information is going to be in the system all for your records. And it's just an easy way to access it all right here in the appointment. All right. And I do want to touch on one other element here. I'm going to go into this Owen Bennett real quick and open up our work order. For those of you that have preventative maintenance jobs, I know there are quite a few of you. The ability to do recurrences is very easy in the system. I just opened up a work order I had and opened up the recurrence pattern here, and we have a whole list of choices: daily, weekly, bi-weekly, and on it goes. I'll just show you what weekly looks like real quick. And I'm not going to build this up because it'll populate out the appointment for me, but I just select the day, and you can select when to end your recurrence. Now this is great for those of you that have a 6, 12, 18-month contract, and you can set it on the end date right there. And the system will populate out that appointment block every day of that week or day of the month, whatever the case may be, into the future. So that way you're not going to forget about it. And when you do get out there, if for whatever reason you have to push the appointment or reschedule it a little bit, very easy. You can just pull it, move it around, or you can right click here and use the move, different days, ahead an hour, back an hour, and it won't affect the future recurring appointments. which is very convenient. Now again, there are separate screens for quote, work order, appointment, invoice. I want to show you what those look like. So I have quote open up already. Just refresh this real quick. There's that quote we just did here. Now this is the grid view of the screen. We have different layouts for it as well. We have map view. Show you what that looks like real quick. I do enjoy maps. We also have chart view. Give you some handy little information breakdowns here, and calendar as well. Take it back to grid. And it's the same in the work order and invoice screen. Work order, we have grid view as well. And the great thing is, all of these fields right here are searchable. You can apply filters to them. So if I wanted to find different filters on here, I can come in and search for different statuses. I can group them. And let me go to invoices because it's probably a little better for you over here. You can come over here and just find your paid ones if you want. And you can search any of these fields and apply multiple filters at the same time. Now you can pull then a report of the information that you filtered down. Now let me come back to the dispatch board again. Now I know we touched on quote and work order and invoice and went all through them. And we touched on the quick entry and color legends here. Now I do want to go back through customers a little bit. And if you remember, we built a quote, work order, and invoice for our customer. So I'm going to come over here to customers. Refresh this here real quick. And I'm going to come down here to Sam. Sam's a customer we just worked on. Now, right down here, all these blocks you can see, you can find their notes, phone calls, appointments. There's that appointment we just did. And also the quote will be here, and the work order, and the invoice. Now, this is great because you don't have to go search the customer's information every time. They're directly tied to that customer. And I want to touch on another feature that I skipped over earlier is equipment. Now I'm going to go and use Michael, a favorite of mine, Michael Frost, right here. I'm going to come in here to equipment and show you that you can take images within the system and track customer equipment. And I'm sure you can see many different images in here for all the different types of service industry that we do demos for. And within this customer equipment, track location, manufacturer model, part number, warranty date, and you can take an image also. Now, if you're just taking before and after images, you can just use the attachments field instead of the equipment. That's fine as well. This is if you want to get a little more in depth in it, and if you want to track when it was serviced, you can come down here and hit the service today, and it'll give you a timestamp just like this one right here. Now, if you're just joining a little bit late, I want you to know when you're ready to schedule your own demonstration, come over to smartservice.com/Denver, come down to schedule a demo, and me and you will go all through your process for your business in a more personalized setting. Also, I want to mention the time clock that we're working with over here. I know everybody clocks in and out for the day. And ours is pretty straightforward, in and out for the day as well. And we do have the ability in the system to track multi-warehouse and vehicles as well as fuel and mileage. I know some of you need that. Discard those real quick. And I do want to touch on our human resources, our employees. Now you can pull a quick view of this right on the dispatch board, but I'm going to go down to Jess and show you the permissions I have set up for him. So I'm going to open up his field, And I get this question a lot. How much are my technicians in the field going to be able to do? Well, you can manually control that as an administrator. You can give them as many or as little permissions as you want. I've even had people say they only want them to be able to clock in for, technician helper or something. You can do that right here. Just add the time clock. And I get this question a lot too, is line item pricing. Will my technician be able to see it? You can turn that on and off right here as well. All right. Come back to our dispatch board. All right, so we've gone all through our quote, work order, and invoice today. If you have any more in-depth questions, feel free to come to smartservice.com/Denver. Come down, schedule a demonstration or call with me, and I will go through all your questions that you may have. I appreciate you tuning in to Smart Service 365 TV today, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.